Welcome everyone and welcome to the special meeting of Toastmasters of Delhi. And our agenda at Toastmasters of Delhi is very clear. We provide a very supportive environment where members are empowered to develop public speaking skills and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. There are some ground rules that I would like to present. So you please avoid talking about religion, sex, and politics. Please, in case of any technical glitches, reach out to the host of the meeting. Please be on mute if you notice that the speaker is speaking, so that you don't distract the speaker. Anyone who's going to speak or pass on the stage, please pass on the stage by displaying a namaste or a high five. Last but not least, please be on camera, guys. We want to have a very interactive meeting. So please be on camera. Anyone who's not on camera, please come on camera. Take few minutes, take few seconds, and please come on camera. That would be great. And anyone who is a regular Toastmaster, please add TM in front of the names, so that it becomes easier to recognize the Toastmasters and guests. We have a very, very interesting workshop today where we are going to understand pronunciations and accents today with our very own Toastmaster David. And I would like to pass on the control to the president of the club, a very encouraging and very hardworking president, Toastmasters Nupur. Over to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for those kind words. Well, as we mentioned earlier, this is a very small group, and it's always better when we see each other, when we see the expressions on the face, to recognize, to understand what the other person is thinking about and how is he or she grasping what is being told. So I would really encourage that all of us switch on our cameras, no matter where you are. I understand it's a Saturday. I understand you might be just relaxing in your home. Not a problem. It's a very supportive community here. We always encourage everyone to be as comfortable as they can, and yet we are there together. Now, with that note, let me welcome on the virtual stage our module master for today, Toastmaster David Conrad Linus. Toastmaster Dave, and okay, first, unmute and a big round of applause, because till the time we actually support each other, remember, we will not be able to move ahead. That's not a Toastmaster thing, that's a psychological thing. We are here to support each other. Do encourage with a huge round of applause. Toastmaster David is an IELTS coach, TOEFL coach. He is a public speaking champion. He's the president of the Toastmasters Club, and he has a magic wand. He has a magic method that he calls the David Linus method that he uses. And he actually can very well say that if you follow the David Conrad method, you would be able to speak in whatever way, whatever accent you actually want, with the right pronunciation, right tone, perfect English. So I would like to welcome Toastmaster David to take this module forward. Toastmaster David, I just see a magic wand and a black screen now. If you can hear me. Okay. It looks like Toastmaster David is facing some issues. Toastmaster David, okay, that he's joined again.
Nupur, I am extremely sorry I got bumped off. I'm not too sure if you finished your introduction or you still have the introduction left?
Well, I did, but I can keep on going if ahead and praising you if you want to. I don't mind.
No, I'll tell you what. Mm, all right, give me a second. You know what? I just had a power cut, and so I'm just totally blanked out. All right, give me a second. Let me quickly get my hotspot on and get
All right.
myself started. But okay, I think we're there 100%. I think we're almost there. Right. So if you finish, have you finished?
Yes, but okay. Why don't you take your time? Let me just go ahead and ask the participants here what exactly is there, or what is it that they are looking for from this workshop, since most of them are guests. So if it's okay with you, you can take your time, switch on the video. I know that's nothing in our control. We all have power cuts, which is okay. All right.
You
So
can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Nupur. I'll just let you know when I'm ready.
absolutely, sure. All right. So I see Toastmaster Pallavi here, and let me take the opportunity to ask her. Toastmaster Pallavi, what is it that you're looking for from this module?
Actually, I was hoping to improve my pronunciation and get it more towards the neutral pronunciation. I always thought I didn't have an accent till I went outside of India and I realized how much of a thick Indian accent I have. So when I saw this opportunity, I thought I should avail it and join this workshop and figure out how to not, how to avoid our, there are certain words which we put a lot of stress on, which we shouldn't be putting, and those kind of things. Some insight into how to improve our pronunciation.
All right. And if I remember correctly, you are in Rishikesh. Are you the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm in Rishikesh. Yes. We spoke.
Yeah.
So the Dehradun one only, which is nearby, and
okay, you joined.
So that made most sense. Yeah. So
right.
I thought I'll have best of both worlds by joining that club and attending this club.
Well, guests are more than welcome here.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, great. So I see I see our guest Namita here. Namita, what is it that you are looking for? Since you also are a coach yourself, so
I'm taking IELTS classes since last a year, and particularly looking for some of the pronunciations. I might be wrong somewhere. Just looking for if I can improve.
Great. Welcome, and I'm sure there would be a good takeaway for you, and Toastmaster David would be more than willing to share anything specific as well if needed here.
Sure.
Okay, I see someone joining. All right, so Toastmaster David is here. Keshav, would you like to introduce yourself, please? While Toastmaster David joins back?
Yeah, sure. Hello, team of today Toastmaster. I don't remember your name, but I am Toastmaster Keshav, currently pursuing my bachelor's at computer application from IMS Ghaziabad and being the part of IMSUC Speakers and Toastmasters Club. I love to play piano and reading novels. Over to you, the team.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Keshav, and welcome to this module. I would now hand over the virtual stage to Toastmaster David with a huge round of applause.
All right. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nupur. That was wonderful. I already feel so bloated and pumped up. And your kind words are definitely very encouraging. Okay, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David, or Toastmaster David Conrad Linus, and as Toastmaster Nupur rightly said, that I've developed a certain mechanism by which you can sound British, American, Australian, Canadian, or anybody you'd like to by just being in India and learning how to pronounce the words correctly. So here we are. I hope you can all hear me. If you can all hear me, just give me a thumbs up so I know you can hear me and you can see me. Can you hear me and see me? Fantastic. And before I go forward, I would like to apologize for the incident that I just experienced right now. I suddenly had a power cut when I was just about to start. So you know what? This is Murphy's Law. When things go wrong, they definitely will. Okay, so here we are. And can you see my screen as well? Okay, fantastic. So I want to thank Toastmasters of I want to thank Toastmaster of Delhi's leadership team for asking me to contribute a module on anything actually. So the module today is about pronunciation, and that I'm extremely privileged and opportuned by this wonderful gesture of theirs. So to the leadership team at Toastmaster of Delhi, wonderful initiative. Thank you very much. And I am extremely privileged to share the space and time at your meeting. Alrighty, so welcome guests and welcome fellow Toastmasters. Today's module is going to be on the hacks and the David Linus method on how you could sound anybody you want to by learning it, or by learning the pronunciation here in India itself. All right, so you could sound like a foreigner anytime you want to. Now that's me there. So English pronunciation made easy by me, David Conrad Linus. That's my website. It's very simple. It's www.davidlinus.com. All right. And for those people who are guests here with us, TM stands for Toastmaster. All right. So I have two questions for you. Do you think pronunciation is important? Number one. And number two, what do you understand by pronunciation? Now, can anybody just raise your hand, unmute yourself, and tell me what you think about pronunciation and what do you understand by pronunciation?
Extremely important. If we are speaking any of the language, we have to be very much clear with the pronunciation of it, whether we are using any of the regional or any other language. And English is as far important in becoming a global language, to becoming more important to use the correct pronunciation, I believe.
All right. Very good, Namita, thank you. Are you a guest or a Toastmaster?
I'm a guest.
Okay, fantastic. Beautiful. Anybody else who'd like to share their opinion on pronunciation with us?
There's a sher in Urdu which says, "Nukhte ki her fer mein khuda juda ho jata hai." Just anything, even a slight change in the way you write or the way you speak makes a huge lot of difference. For example, my tailor said, "Main aapke liye Nehru collars bana दूं." Nehru pants bana दूं. And I was always like, when did Nehru start wearing pants? And that is when I realized he was trying to say narrow pants. And this is what pronunciation can be all about, how important right pronunciation is.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So we'll go through that, and that's a wonderful, wonderful anecdote and a citation, Toastmaster Nupur. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and they're so close, isn't it? Nehru and narrow. So, I mean, of course, yeah, if we speak Hindi, we would normally say narrow, and that's the pronunciation for narrow, which is not the pronunciation for Nehru, and they are miles apart. So there you go. Okay. Anybody else who'd like to share or contribute as to what you think about pronunciation? Come on, guests, you're welcome to do it. You're here to participate today. Don't feel shy. The Toastmasters platform is not for somebody to feel shy.
Yes, Vandana, please go ahead.
Who's that?
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
feel a good pronunciation is very, very important because you upgrade yourself also where your personality is concerned if you're speaking with the right pronunciation.
Right.
And you can also tell a person as to which state he belongs to. A Bengali will have a particular kind of a dialect, the way they'll talk, the way they'll pronounce their words. And Punjabi will have a different pronunciation in the same language So it's very important that we get the right pronunciation.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Ms. Bala. Thank you very much. Are you a Toastmaster?
No, I'm a guest. It's my first time that I'm attending one of your sessions.
Beautiful. It's our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. So, ladies and gentlemen, pronunciation is very, very important. It's like the front of your house. You know, it's the outside, the texture or the exterior of something. If it looks good, people want to come in. If it looks nice, it looks inviting. Exactly what pronunciation is for the English language. Is it important? It is. Right. Was somebody asking me a question? Sorry.
No, please go ahead. I think there's some background noise.
Okay. So, like Toastmaster Nupur said, right? Is it important? Of course, it's important, because you know what? If you don't say the word correctly, if you don't articulate or announce what you want to say, that's where pronunciation comes from. To announce clearly. If you don't announce clearly your intention or what you'd like to express, then comprehension becomes a little challenged, and you would understand something else which you shouldn't be. Just as in the case as a Toastmaster Nupur experienced with her tailor, where he said what he meant was narrow pants, and it sounded like Nehru pants, you see. So, and of course, there are many examples, but we'll look into these little things as we get along. Okay, so here we are. So we know that pronunciation is important. And what do we understand by pronunciation? It's basically the sounds that we've got to work on of a particular language. Every language has its sounds. Hindi has its sounds. English has its sounds. Every language has its sounds. Now, well, in my experience and in the David Linus method, you have to develop the ability to be able to articulate these sounds. You could sound anybody you'd like. You could sound British, you could sound Indian, you could sound anybody. All right. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in this particular module. All right, here we are. Your English pronunciation is the first impression other people get when you speak. You may have excellent reading and writing skills, which I know a lot of people they're probably masters at it, but other people will judge your English by what they hear.
David, I believe you're facing a lot of issues with the voice clarity. There's some disconnect. Is it, so you're missing a part of what you're saying?
Is it better now, Nupur? Is it better? Okay, I'll tell you what. There's going to be a little a problem today. Well, it's very unfortunate because my Wi-Fi also goes off because we have a pocket. I don't know why we've had a pocket right now, because it normally doesn't happen. But well, that is in Hindi ittifaq.
I understand. Okay, not a problem. We'll go ahead with this.
Yeah. So we've just got to manage with what we have, right? And that's also a part of our learning on pronunciation. So here we are. So yeah, and I was asking you if you've seen that video promotion by Chetan Bhagat on YouTube. Have you seen that? No. Okay. Well, what he's doing is he's promoting an English app or something on YouTube where he says that, you know what, if you get a math sum wrong, nobody's going to laugh or ridicule you, or if you don't get your locations and geography correct, nobody's going to ridicule you and stuff like that. But if you don't speak English properly, people are going to look down on you, you know, and they'll call you out for that, you know, or you know, XYZ doesn't speak English properly, so you're going to look very embarrassed and stuff like that. So there you go. So even a person like Chetan Bhagat is pointing out that pronunciation, or for that matter, English proficiency and fluency is extremely important. But today we're going to focus on, well, the lights are back. All right, you can see me a little more clearly now, I guess, right? Praise the Lord. Okie dokie. Let me quickly change my connection. Give me a second. All right, here we are. Now, so now let's look at this particular slide, okay? Can you all see my slide, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, we can see that.
Perfect. Now, you must have heard of this word hiccup. Have you heard of hiccup? We all get a lot of hiccups when we have to go onto the stage and speak at a Toastmasters meeting. Right, Toastmaster Pallavi? A lot of us experience hiccups when we've got to go onto the stage and speak at a Toastmasters meeting. But look at that bloody spelling. It's H-I-C-C-O-U-G-H. Now, to an untrained eye and ear, that would be like hiccough, isn't it? But that's not hiccough, that's hiccup, you see? And G-H is pronounced as P. What a crazy language, hiccup. The next one is bow, E-A-U is O as in bow, right? E-A-U is O as in bow. G-H-T is T as in knot. E-I-G-H is A as in nay. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
P-T is T as in pterodactyl. You see that? So P is silent. It's completely silent. We don't even say anything.
Okay, now we can't hear you.
Like potato. You see that? And for this reason, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I was just switching my network. Now, can you hear me better now?
Yep, it's definitely better.
Super duper. I can hear you better as well. All right, so there we are. So let's look at this. So GH is P as in hiccup, EAU is O as in bow, GHT is T as in knot, EIGH is A as in nay, and PT is only T in pterodactyl, and OUGH is O as in though, just like you would use it in potato. Now, isn't that a little confusing? Right? To an untrained ear, and to a person who's probably learning, who has begun learning English later in life, or for that matter, somebody who probably started learning English in grade 7 or grade 8. For them, this is going to be a little challenging, right? Now, the thing with English pronunciation is that we have more exceptions than we have rules. But the good thing about the English pronunciation is that the rules are sufficient enough. The rules are sufficient enough to help you become great English speakers with the right pronunciation. Okay, and I'm going to share with you a couple of things, but I want you to take a look at this video that I'm going to share with you. All right, are you ready? Now, I've renamed this video. If you want to see it later, you know, whenever you want to, you can see that the name is very, very easy to recall. It's TMOD 2022, right? bit.ly. And if you play this, now let me play it for you. And I hope I can share the video. Give me a second. All right. Okay, it's coming up. And it's going to be very interesting. This is honestly very interesting. But after today, I'm quite okay. I'm quite confident that after this module, you'd be able to speak like British or Americans. All right. So you'll be able to speak like a Britisher, or you'll be able to speak like an American. If you want to get a little more fancy, you can probably start speaking like the Australians, a little more fancier, and you could be sounding like South Africans. Okay. So here we are. Let me share this with you. Oh God. Here we are. Now, how do you, okay, share sound as well. Fantastic. Okay. So can you all see my screen? All right.
Daddy, read me a good night story.
Can you hear the audio?
There you are, Daddy.
Can you hear?
Once upon a time, in the woods lived a peasant. He was a good man with a noble heart. He spent his time in the forest, cutting down bushes from the trees. Cutting wood.
Wait, just a minute. What is this bushes?
Bushes, right in there.
That's boughs.
B-O-U-G-H is bow?
Right.
Bow. He spent his time in the forest cutting down boughs from the trees. Cutting wood all day made his hands strong and raw. One day...
That's rough.
Spelled the same way as the other. O-U-G-H.
That's right. That shows how little you know about the English language.
So I made a little mistake. Made his hands strong and rough. One day he cut wood so fast that by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, his day's work was through. When the...
Hold it, Shakespeare.
Through?
T-H-R-O-U-G-H is pronounced through.
Through, that's what I always say. Now stop picking on me, will you? You're getting me all confused. His day's work was through. It started to rain on the way home, and he got so wet that his nose became red, and he developed a hacking... Cool? I know it can't be cow.
It's cough.
Oh, that did it. I had enough. Or should I say, enu?
All righty. Did you enjoy that?
Yes, sir, we did.
Fantastic. So let's go back to our pronunciation. There you go. So you see that, you see the same collection of letters, could take on absolutely different sounds. You see, through, cough, bow, isn't it? Enough, and this is something that we've got to be particularly aware of with the English language now. But like I said, there are some rules, and I can't share everything in half an hour today, but what I can definitely share with you is all the links to all the wonderful places where you can go and become a master speaker. All right? So crazy, isn't it? Absolutely. Very, very crazy. Now, let's go to the simple hacks. Now, let me ask you, do you think that I studied in Britain? Do you think I studied in Britain or America or some fancy school with the accent that I speak in? Now that I've asked you a question, you probably would say no, right? Well, you're not saying anything. Come on.
Well, I guess, sorry, go ahead, Raji, please.
You do have an accent, whether probably it's American, I wouldn't know, or a mix of British as well as American. But the accent is definitely there.
Okay.
Yeah, and whatever it is very nice.
It's very nice, very impressive.
All right. So, well, I really want to thank you for the recognition and the appreciation of this wonderful sound that I produce. And it's not entirely mine, but I must credit my gurus and the people that I work with, and I'm still working with, to be able to come up with something known as the standard Indian received pronunciation. The standard Indian received pronunciation. Now, if you know a little about the English language, you would know that the British English or the Queen's English is considered to be the standard English. And those who acquire the British or the Elizabethan English, they are considered or recognized as people who speak with a received pronunciation. So they don't include people who speak English as good or as well as they can to be, they don't recognize them as native speakers. They recognize them as speakers with the standard RP or received pronunciation. Now, one of those characters is a person called Shashi Tharoor. Okay, but we have so many people in India who speak the English language, and but the misfortune has been that we haven't been able to speak the English language like it is meant to be spoken. So there's a few of us who've got together, and we've started working on the particular sound that you hear that I produce. This sound is called the Indian received pronunciation. Have you ever heard of received pronunciation? So if you have Google and the things that I throw out and I come up with, you can search it, you can Google it. It's called RP or received pronunciation. Now, did anybody look it up? Can you give me an answer?
I guess we are just so engrossed in listening to you. We never did actually Google. So just doing that now.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm a very patient man. Take your time.
Yeah, I googled it, and it is saying it is like British English, somewhat based on Southern England part of it.
What else does it tell you?
Also say that it is widely accepted everywhere.
Right, widely accepted. Now it's widely accepted, and you always have some people to promote something. And the BBC was singularly the most influential of an institution or body to propagate and to support and promote the received pronunciation, because it was considered absolutely clear and comprehensible. Okay, and that's how. And it was also considered an accent of the posh and refined and sophisticated gentry. So people like Boris Johnson, people like David Cameron, most of your British prime ministers, or all the big wigs of the UK are kind of put on this very strong RP accent. Now, there's an RP and there's a posh RP. Now, coming back to India. In India, we have so many people who speak the English language. So some of my teachers and my professors, we got together and we started working on these sounds. And I am the proof and the result of that sound, which is known as the Indian RP. Does it sound nice?
Very, very impressive.
Thank you. So, but how do we get here? How do we arrive here? It's very simple. Just as you would learn English, British English sounds for the British English pronunciation, or the American sounds for the American pronunciation, we just follow the British English, but we try and keep it as sophisticated and as close to the international pronunciation as possible. And if you can do that, you automatically develop an accent, number one. Number two, you would always be sounding correct. Now, let's look at how we can do that. And the hacks are absolutely simple. It is so simple that if you start developing this habit for the next 30 days, you would sound better than the Queen, ladies and ladies, and the gents, you would sound better than Shashi Tharoor. All right? Now, the first thing we've got to keep in mind in the English language is that vowels make the sound. All right? Only vowels in the English language make the sound. Why do we sound off? I just heard somebody say that our Indian accent is very thick. The reason our Indian accent is very thick is because we also make the consonants sound. For example, I kicked him in his backside. Now that's only an exaggeration, all right? I'm not trying to I was just trying to exaggerate it so that you get the point. Now the point is, if you say I kicked him, it's totally incorrect. What you should be saying is I kicked. Now, there are certain rules with words ending in ed as well. For example, this particular word, K-I-C-K-E-D, has a D ending, but when we speak, we say kicked. So we just say K-I-K and T. So it should sound kicked. As simple as that. You see, that is so simple, isn't it? And so only the vowels in the English language produce the sounds, or at least we should focus on articulating or producing the sounds when we see a vowel. Now, I've given you some examples here. A vowel is a speech sound that we make by not blocking air as it travels out of the mouth. For example, ship, hip, sh. So we're not blocking that sound. It's ship. Then we have sheep, Then we have good. Then we have shoot. Then we have bird, teachers, and then we have door. You see that? It's so simple, isn't it? So the sounds are produced by vowels. Okay? We should not try and make consonants sound loud. We need to suppress the sounds of the consonants and, you know what? Increase the volume of the vowels. Now let's look at the consonants. Number 2, consonants. A consonant is a speech sound that we make by blocking air as it travels out through our mouth or nose. We block air by touching together 2 or more of the lips, tongue, teeth, top of the mouth, and the back of the throat, right? Now, example of these consonant sounds are, for example, P. So we're trying to block the sound. We're trying to blow. It's like trying to blow a balloon, right? And we're not taking the sound out. And the moment we take the sound out, our mouth just opens and you get the sound P. So it will not be P. You know what? So there's a big difference. There's a very marked difference between P and P. You see that? My second sound was slightly exaggerated, but if I were to say it in connected speech, I would say P. All right? I've got a lot of P's here. So that's as close as you can get to technically the right or the correct pronunciation. Now, the next one is fly. So again, we're trying to block the air coming out on F. So, right? Fly, fly. think. Now, this is another sound that's very important for us in English, TH. The TH sound is crazily important in English because it takes on so many variations, and I'm going to give you a few. Think. I think you're a very nice boy, David. I think you're a very nice boy, David. Oh, I don't think you're a nice boy. Oh, I think you're a nice boy. You see, there's so many variations you can bring on that TH sound, but technically it should sound think. Well, I think you're a good boy, David. You see that? The next one is T. T. So it's like trying to take the air out, but you're trying to compress it inside, right? So it's tiger, 10, tea. I love tea. Do you love tea, Arpit? You don't love tea. Good. I love tea. What about you, Vandana ma'am? Do you love tea?
Yes, I do.
Beautiful. All right. The next one is C. And then we have ship again. Ship. Then we have cheese. And then we have car. Interesting, isn't it? And it's so easy. You see that? You've already got two ways of sounding correct. First is you've got to make the sound on the vowel. And the second is you've got to try and block the sounds on your consonants. So that's why it will not be kicked, it will be kicked. Can you say that word, Arpit? Kicked.
Kicked. Kicked.
Huh?
Kicked. K-I-C-K-E-D.
No,
Kicked.
I didn't say that. I said K-I-K-T. K-I-K-T. Kicked.
Kicked. Okay, I don't have to pronounce the E. Okay, kicked.
You mustn't pronounce the D. So it should not be kicked. It should just be K-I-K, kick, and then T, kicked.
Kicked.
Yes.
Sort
Go
of.
ahead. One
Kicked.
more time. Huh?
Kicked.
Very close. Very close. Super. If you practice, like I said, you could sound better than Shashi Tharoor. All righty. Now, once we know that we have to make the sound, we've got to make the sounds on the vowels and suppress the sounds on the consonants. So when we try and do that, we're going to come up with sounds. For example, every language is built on sounds. Now, I'm not a very great singer, but there's one line I can sing beautifully, and that's from that it's from a very old Hindi song. It's "Aa chal ke tujhe main leke chalu ek aise gagan ke tale." You see that? But if I were to sing it slightly differently, for example, "Aa chal ke tujhe main leke chalu ek aise gagan," it sounds off, doesn't it? Which sounded more in tune, the first rendition or the second rendition?
First one.
Absolutely, because I was closer to the sound, right? "Aa chal ke tujhe main leke chalu ek aise gagan ke tale jahan gam bhi." So it goes really high, right? I can't take that high note, but this was even closer, isn't it? Now, Mr. Gaurav Sharma, can you tell me why was it closer?
I don't know, maybe because you were hashing these sounds.
I was matching the sound, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you've got to match the sound, right? Okay, so here we go. So we know vowels, we know consonants, and they make sounds. And every sound that they make is known in the English language as a meaningless unit of sound or syllable, right? For example, potato. And if you add these three sounds together, it would sound, it would sound like potato, tomato. You see that? When you add these sounds, when you add these meaningless units of sounds together, they produce a meaningful sound like potato. And if you add it together, it'd be like potato or tomato, right? So a syllable is a meaningless unit of sound or pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonant sounds. With or without surrounding consonant sounds. And I've given you some examples here. You can see there. The first one is I. All right. It's got two vowels. It's a diphthong, so it's got two vowel sounds, ah and I. I. So if you were to incorporate that into a word my, it would sound like my. Okay. Then you have the vowel and the consonant, like ok, walk, ok, walk. Then you have the consonant and the vowel, like t, 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 outer, outer, out, outer. And that's a schwa sound. The schwa in the English language is very, very important because you have so many words in the English language that take on the schwa sound. Okay, and that's one particular one there, outer. The last one is your consonant, vowel, consonant, which is normally the most popular structure in which a syllable appears in the English language. And here it's zin, zin, zin. This schwa sound comes from here. Zen. Okay, and I can't show you the entire thing in detail here, but there are a lot of videos online which you can visit and get that sound going for you. All right, so it will sound like poison. You know what? Poison was a rock band. Did you know that Poison was a rock band? No? Well, but you probably know this, that poison can kill you. Right? So poison can kill you. Okay, so there we are. Three very important things about the English language pronunciation. First is the sounds are only made on the vowels. So if you've heard me say poi, so poi, oi, even if I don't say the P out loudly, it will still be comprehensible as poi. But I just say pot, zin, and the sounds are oi and e, oi and e, poison, right? But if I were to articulate or sound the consonant letters, then my pronunciation or my accent would be offline. For example, poison. Now, isn't that a little difficult? Poison, right? Now, a lot of people wouldn't be able to understand you because you're not saying it correctly, right? Okay, here we are. The 6 things that you need to go back home today and learn. I'm going to share this presentation with Toastmaster Nupur. She will share it with you. Okay, so you can take this. It's free for all. I want you guys to develop the Indian received pronunciation so that we speak English better. We speak English better than the Britishers and the Americans and all of them combined. Okay. The first one is the interactive phoneme chart. The phoneme chart is where you have the 44 sounds of the English language. 44 sounds of the English language. All right. You have 12 monophthongs, you have 8 diphthongs, and then you have 24 consonant sounds. So in total, you have 44 basic sounds of the English language. It's so easy. You only have 44 sounds. How many sounds? 44. That's it. And every English word, every English sentence is a combination of these 44 sounds. That's it. Like bus, 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 bus. There you go. It's so simple, isn't it? Then the next one is the phonemic chart explained. All right, how the chart works, that's explained. What is the phonemic chart? And the fourth is the International Phonetic Association. We're going to do some exercises a little later down in the slide. So this is very important. You need to know how to use the IPA. If you know how to use the IPA, you'll never get a word pronounced incorrectly. The next one, the 44 phonemes video resource for all. So you can go and look at that. And the last one, which is very important and which is the David Linus method, is that you need to be able to clearly articulate these minimal pairs. For example, pig, 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 big. All right. So these similar sounding words in the English language is known as minimal pairs. And you have more than 3,500 of these minimal pairs that if you practice them, Arpit Jain, you will sound better than Shashi Tharoor in 30 days. All right. So there you are. Now, like I said, I can't give you everything today, but I can show you the road and go through them. It's very easy, self-explanatory, and you'll be on track with the right pronunciation. The next one is when the pronunciation of a word is transcribed in your dictionary, how are you able to come up with the pronunciation, right? So have you all opened a dictionary?
Yep.
Okay. So let's open one right now online. Just write the word surrender space definition. Surrender space definition. Do you have that?
Yes.
What do you see? Now you see an icon there. You see an icon there for the sound, right? Isn't it? So
Yes.
Surrender.
Surrender. Surrender. Now, and then you have the word spelt,
Squiggly fashion.
the alphabetical spelling, and then just below that you have the IPA spelling. Do you see the IPA spelling?
Yeah.
Toastmaster Pallavi, do you see the IPA spelling?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you help me understand the IPA spelling here?
Understand in the sense it's S. The E is upside down. So I discovered this as a student by fluke, and I was very proud of it because I was a book nerd kind. So in the dictionary, when I used to see these figures, and I used to wonder what is this? Why are they everywhere? So by default or by curiosity, I found the list right in the first couple of pages, and then the words, how to pronounce it. And that's how I learned not to be afraid of new words, because I knew instantly how the pronunciation will be because I had this key with me. This is all before the world of the technology came, and this is my school time, and we used to use the paper book dictionary.
Right,
So
Blackie's dictionary or Collins dictionary, right?
Yeah, Oxford and Collins, yeah. Those
Fantastic.
ones. So yeah.
So if you see that, it's got an oblique, it's got a slant towards the right. So it's a forward slant, and then you see S and the inverted E. The inverted E is the schwa in the English language. Schwa. The most common sound in the English language, schwa. All right. And then after that, you see a single inverted comma. Do you see that? Now, and then you see R, and then you see the proper E, then N, D, and then again the schwa. Right? You see the schwa. Okay. Now, I'm going to help you decode this pronunciation. Okay. Now let's look at what part of speech is this. Is this a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Or is it a preposition? Now, another clue which you learn in the presentation going forward: nouns and adjectives. The first part is normally emphasized. Verbs and prepositions, the second part is emphasized. Now, if you go down there, you'll see that this word is a verb. And when I said verb, Arpit, you know exactly that the second part needs to be emphasized, right? That single inverted comma, Arpit, indicates to you that you should start the syllable stress, the stress from that particular syllable. So it should be render, So don't say sir, just say render, render, render. Say.
Render.
Yeah, just say render, render.
Render, render, render.
Yeah. So what it's telling you is that you need to start the emphasis of or the stress from RE. That's where your and the SE is the secondary pronunciation or the secondary stress, which is sometimes also called the blind stress, all right, or the omitted stress. So you don't have to say it quite loudly. What should be loud is render. Well, he needs to surrender. Render.
Surrender.
And if you join it together, it should sound like surrender. Well, David, you've been caught by the police. Why don't you surrender?
Got it. Got it.
Okay. All righty. So now let's move on quickly.
Just one question. The apostrophe, whatever comes after is generally, that means that whatever comes after that is to be stressed.
Absolutely, Toastmaster Pallavi. Jahan se, oh, sorry, this is not Hindi. Wherever you see the single inverted comma, sorry, the single comma, top comma, from there starts your stress, all right? But there's also another comma at the bottom. So you have one comma at the top and one comma at the bottom, all right? Toastmaster Nupur, please let me know the time as well, okay?
Well, I would, it's 5:06, we wrap up by 5:30. So I would want some question answer session to be there as well.
Okay, can you give me like another 5 minutes?
Absolutely, sure, please.
Right, super. Okay, so there we are. So the other one is where you have a comma at the bottom of the word, all right? So you can see here, it's written here. You can read it later, or I can just quickly read it for you. For syllables that receive the primary stress, we use a short vertical line above and immediately before the syllable being emphasized is used. You can see that. Now for the secondary stress, we use the same vertical line, but it appears below and before the syllable, all right? I'll show you both. And while this guide usually does mark them in IPA transcriptions, we will indicate unstressed syllables in the section with periods or dots, all right? Now, there's an example given here, all right? Application. Cation, application, cation. So the stress is on K, cation. Well, David, I didn't get your application. See that? And it sounds like I have an accent. There's no accent. It's just correct and clear linear pronunciations. That's it. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now, can you tell me, where do you see the primary stress and the secondary stress? Tell me.
On the GR, geography, geography, like.
No, in the first one.
Okay.
Geography.
Mm-hmm.
No?
No, above that.
Application.
Application.
In application, yes. In application, where's the primary stress? Where's the secondary stress?
First is on L. Apply.
No, K.
No.
Application.
K.
The
It's
first
K.
is that K.
K.
K, E, and I. The syllable K, E, and I is the primary stress. So so always start when you want to learn a new word, always start with the primary stress. So say cation. All right, you got it? Now, remember I told you that there are some syllables that we blind, or we drop, or we omit, or we're very soft on them, and that's denoted by a full stop. So even if you don't say li very loudly, like if you just say it, it's called a blind pronunciation, or a blind syllable. You just say l. You don't have to say li. You just say l. You see that? That's correct. Now let me pronounce it for you, okay, so that you get an idea. Now the secondary stress is on app. Now the secondary stress should always sound lower than your primary stress. It should not sound application. No, it should sound application. Application. Now, if you've noticed, I did not even stress on li. I just said application. Application. And if I join these sounds together, it would sound like application. Well, Arpit Jain, I didn't receive your application. Doesn't this sound like an accent? Right.
Little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so simple, right? Now the next one. In some cases, there are certain words in the English language which have two or more recognized pronunciations. And one of those words is given here for you. Geography. Now, the first one, you can see where the primary stress is, so it'll be ography. So the stress should be on ography. So if you were to say this word, Mr. Arpit Jain, you would say geography, because the D and Z and I is G. Yeah. So if you put these sounds together, it would sound like geography. The stress is on ography. And Americans mostly say geography. Oh, the geography of India is such that it becomes a beautiful landscape. Now, the second pronunciation, you can see that the primary stress is on D, Z, and O, right? So the second pronunciation, Mr. Arpit Jain, would be geography. You see that? Isn't that wonderful?
And both are correct.
And both are correct, absolutely. You could say geography, geography, or you could also say geography. Both are right. And here's some activity for you. And after this, we are going to close and shut down. Go ahead. So the first one, how would you say that, Toastmaster Pallavi?
So the stress would be on development.
Yeah, so always, like I said, the clue, the David Linus method is start where the primary stress, development.
Yeah. Development.
Ab DI जोड़ दो, कैसे होगा?
Development.
But you're not supposed to sound the second
I.
And you're not also supposed to sound the consonants. So it will be like this: development. See, so my DI is very soft, right? Development.
This is a tongue twister for me. I don't know why when I'm breaking it down, it's getting confusing.
Chalo, koi nahi, aa jayenge. You've got 1 month.
Yeah, I'll just give it one last shot. Development. Okay, I'll try it again.
Say this. Development. Development. ना आप अपने पुराने pronunciation पे जा रहे हैं.
Development. So when I'm saying development, when I'm adding D, I don't know what is going wrong. Development.
Habit. आदत से लाचार है हम.
Yes. इतने साल में अब टूटने में तो time लगेगा ना.
जी, that's why I'm giving you 30 days.
Yes.
All right. So development becomes development. So अगर DI को भी अगर आप, if you don't stress it out, it doesn't matter because the pronunciation automatically passes through. So it would sound like development. So you just say development.
Development.
One again, most of us get wrong in Delhi NCR. It's called government. All right. The first one is gava, and mint, government. The second pronunciation is government.
The second one's actually easy.
I just have a confusion here. If I say N in between, if I say government.
Nah, wrong. It's government. Well, halki N hai, but it's not noticeable. If the moment you make it conspicuous, then it becomes our Indian pronunciation, government.
Government.
है ना? तो conspicuous नहीं बनाना उसे. Oh, it's a light shade. It's govern. नाक में ना govern. Government. And the other pronunciation is government. Okay. Now, can you tell me the next pronunciation, Mr. Jain?
I don't know the word. It's B-E what?
B-O-W-L.
Bowl.
Bowl.
Bowl. No.
So ये क्या है?
Bowl.
It is a bowl.
Bowl.
Now, the other thing that I deliberately put this up for you is that when you see a primary and a secondary stress, it means that it's a one-syllable word. So it should be bowl. Kaisa? Bowl. Okay. Then we have Wednesday. Now, Wednesday में क्या है? W-E-D है. तो बहुत कोई ऐसे कह देते हैं Wednesday. No. It's only Wednesday. All right. Now,
Can I request the ones who are actually on mute and not opening their cameras to take the next one and try? Khushbu, Gaurav, Aryan, Preeti, let's give it a try.
Right. Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'll stop here, but the slides are very self-explanatory, and the crux of the matter I've already covered. The rest is all supplementary information for you. You can go through my slides and you can be a champion English speaker and be one among the tribe who speak Indian received pronunciation, which is better than the Queen and better than the Americans. All right, so do you have any questions for me?
Guys, unmute yourself and please go ahead. Feel free to ask whatever questions you want.
Like right, I do have 3-4 questions, but I don't want to take everyone's time. So like,
please go ahead, because I'm sure everyone is going to benefit from the questions that you have.
So should I ask questions related to the specific session or in like Toastmaster in general?
Specific session first, and then I would request the guests to stay back so that we can handle the Toastmaster specific questions.
Okay, so regarding the session, like, are we leaning towards US English, British English, or like neutral English? What is this?
Okay, so like I said, the Indian received pronunciation that we're trying to propagate and spread is about a very neutral accent, an accent that you develop because of correct pronunciation. Now, I don't know how to explain this to you, but what I'm trying to say is that if you pronounce a word correctly, by virtue of pronouncing it correctly, you develop an accent. Like some of you say that I have an accent, then this is the Indian RP or the Indian accent. Now, the modern Indian accent going forward.
Right, let me put it this way. Let's say, just to support what Toastmaster David's saying, can I make a video of your? That is usually how we speak it. Is video, when you emphasize on I, is that the right pronunciation? Anyone?
No.
What should be the right pronunciation for that?
The right pronunciation should be a video.
A video, yeah.
Right. So that is what we are trying to explain here. That the right pronunciation is, and that is what neutralizing the accent here is, because we as Indians emphasize a lot on, for us, damru, is very prominent. Tomato, tomato, we say tomato. So that does and r and r and r, you know, they are two different sounds. So we here are trying to neutralize the accent so that it is easily understood when you are in a global scenario. So nothing in particular, we are not encouraging the accent of any particular region. We're just trying to make sure that the the way of speaking is such that it is very conveniently understood by everyone.
Thank you.
All right, more questions?
I have a question, David. This is something quite personal. You haven't up till now unveiled as to where you've learned your English from, where you've studied from. You said whether it was Britain or it was the US. You must tell us something about your picking up this language.
Right, that's a very good question, Vandana ma'am. Thank you very much. Well, I did not go to Britain, and neither did I go to the US to study. I picked up this language in a state called Bihar.
Wow.
So I come from Bihar. I'm presently in Bihar, and but I went to a boarding school, which is just as it's like any other boarding school in India. It was partly a thing of something that was inside me that got me learning English a little more in detail, where most of our teachers would say that Biharis can't speak English. So I took that a little too personally and started working on this language. I said, well, there has to be something about this bloody language that we have to overcome and be able to speak. And that's how I started learning this in Bihar, in a closed room. I started listening to a lot of BBC, a lot of CNN, Australian radio and South African radio and stuff like that. And working on the sounds, like I said, and that's how I developed the David Linus method. Okay,
great. Just tell me about this boarding school. Was it run by the Catholics? No, it was run by, say, the Indian.
Yes, we had an Indian leadership, mostly people from Calcutta and the local area, Siliguri, Darjeeling, out there. This boarding school is in Hong Kong. It's a very old school. It was built in 1900. They will be celebrating their 122nd foundation day this year. So it's been around for a long time, but we have an entirely Indian leadership, yes.
But then that's wonderful because you've totally done it on your own. It's not through your schooling or, listening to the nuns or whatever, or the brothers.
No, we had no nuns. We had no nuns and fathers and brothers now.
Wonderful.
But thankfully, we didn't have the convents. The convents tend to develop an accent of their own, which is not entirely. It's midway, and it's very difficult to get out because you develop that accent. So I was lucky. I was raw, and I had the opportunity to develop this particular sound that I have. Yeah.
Great.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, I'm sure you have some questions.
Aditya, you have been hiding behind the logo for quite some time. Please do take this opportunity to share your screen, share yourself, speak up, and ask if any questions that you have.
Ma'am, I was really impressed by this session. I wanted to stay in touch with sir. I wanted to know, how do I stay in touch with sir's work, what he does and how he does it. I just wanted to know all that. I can, it's really exciting to see that he's so good. I've never known that some Indian can actually speak such good English. And this is really surprising to me. And it was even more surprising that he is from Bihar, because I'm myself from Bihar. And that's really great.
David, Bihari mein kuch bol do ab Hindi wali bhasha. So for just to make sure that everyone here is actually convinced that where exactly you're from.
I've spent a lot of time in Delhi as well, so I try. But I can switch between accents. Yeah, बिल्कुल. ऐसा है कि हम बिहार के हैं और बिहार के बहुत पिछड़े जिला के हैं. जिला जो है आपका कोसी जिला है, तो कटिहार जिला और निर्मली जिला के बीच में है. हमारे यहाँ से नेपाल के बॉर्डर जो है मुश्किल से 40 किलोमीटर के दरमियान में है बस.
Well, Aditya, David has already put his website on details on chat, and I would definitely be sharing the slides he shared, and it has his number and everything. And I would request you to stay back after this meeting so that we can also explain how Toastmasters overall can help you with your journey towards good pronunciation, communication, and overall what we are looking at in terms of public speaking, leadership, and communication.
Take care. Thank you, everybody, and God bless you, and enjoy yourselves. Happy Toastmastering.
Thank you so much, David.
To join a Toastmasters
Thank you
Club.
so much.
Don't forget to join the Toastmasters Club. Get in touch with Toastmaster Nupur. Join up. It's the best place. It's a universe. It's an ocean. It's a beautiful place.
David, I've already received another request for you to share your wonderful workshop somewhere else as well. I'll get in touch with you. You're a popular guy. You are gonna rock now. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you taking out the time and coming here and sharing all those wonderful things to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, dear guests. So this is where the workshop ends, and now I will stop the recording so that we can actually discuss what Toastmasters is all about. And anyone who wants to know is more than welcome to stay back.